Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today in War Thunder it's time to have a look at another devblog for a machine that will be available in this Battlefield Engineer event. Now we still have no information how this event is going to work, but we do have 3 devblogs highlighting the vehicles that are going to be in it. So as we talked about before, we have the I-180 now, we now have the PR-122BIS, which is this machine here, so that's this one. And then, of course, we had the Ju-388. So the ones that we have to wait for are the Battle Toaster, the AA machine from Germany with the 88. Then we have the Macabre, which is just insane once again. And then what is some form of British light cruiser. I think somebody said it may be the Lion. So overall, we're getting a ton of varied vehicles which are all really interesting and all can easily have tech tree equivalents, which is something that I'm actually really happy about. So the PR-122 that you see here, there are other vehicles in the series of the PR-122s. The A series could be put into the tree. When we look at the I-180, they've picked the S, which is the supposed production variant, even though it never made it into production, but it means that you can, put one of the other versions, the prototype versions, in the tree. And then when it comes to the Ju-388s, there was a bunch of different variants that they wanted to put in real life in World War II, such as recon variants, bomber variants, night fighter variants. So, there's a bunch of good stuff there. So, looking at all of these vehicles, I'm happy that they've picked these just because it means once they come to the game, they at least will have tech tree equivalents that are around. Now, the PR-122 kind of already does in its original form. This is a machine which is part of the Kronstadt-class. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but it's a very odd word. The Kronstadt-class Submarine Chaser. And we have a lot of Subchasers in the game already. A lot of people have been thinking that, this marks, submarines coming out. I don't think so, because, we already have a ton. This kind of just adds to the list of them, of vehicles that we have, which are similar to it. And another thing is that I thought we'd seen this before. I thought we'd seen the PR-122 ages ago in some form of CBT test, and I'm not wrong, because this is technically the second devblog that we've had of this machine. The PR-122, or the Project 122BIS Subchaser, was actually talked about in the 13th of January 2017, and something that I've noticed about these Coups, the old ones, they run at what seems to be 30 FPS, where the new ones are 60, which is why they look a hell of a lot clearer. But yeah, we've already had a devblog on this thing, which is just kind of funny, but now it's coming into the game, not in the tech tree, but as one of these Battlefield Engineer specials. I'm really hoping this is a long-form event, otherwise I am worried that because of all the stuff on offer, it's going to be one of those events, so it's going to be really, really hard to get all of the different vehicles. So let's talk about the Project 122BIS. What makes it so good? Well, remember, it's designed to kill submarines, a class of vehicle that we do not have in the game yet, therefore it can be disregarded. The other things that it has on top of it are an 85mm on the front, then it has some 37mm on the back, which also seem to have a few machine guns around with them that can be used for light AA fire. So if we have a look at the general guns on this machine, we can have a look at this picture here. You have the 85, which is set on the front, you have 2 37s, and then you have 2 sets of machine guns on the back and 1 set of machine guns on the front. So decent AA cover for the tier. You can see the machine guns right here, 1 and 2 and then 3. Then you've got the 37mm and the 85. So overall, you've got a lot of stopping power when it comes to either aircraft, when it comes to either ships and stuff like that. So I can definitely see this being a late rank 2 vehicle. One of the things that it's missing, or at least that I can't see, which I would love to see on the majority of ships, is torpedoes. And the reason for this is because torpedoes give you such a, not a massive boost, I think that's the wrong word, but they give you much more versatility when it comes to ships. It means that you can block off areas. It means that you can go after larger ships at a better strength. And since this thing, in my opinion, is going to be like a late tier 2 machine, what it's going to need is it's going to need the ability to go after those larger ships, because as we've seen a lot in naval forces, if you played the Sea Voyage event or if you play regularly, the battle boats, as I like to call them, in late rank 2, around the 3 to 4 BR, get uptiered a lot into destroyers, because that's, generally what people are playing, and said destroyers get uptiered into light cruisers, because guess what? In War Thunder Naval, it is literally, you have bigger guns, you have more armor, you win. And the torpedoes can be a great balancing factor for that fact, and since this thing doesn't have it, then it's going to have to rely on its guns a lot. Now, one of the things that has been really touted for this machine as a really cool idea is the fact that it has rocket launchers on the front of it. It has bomb mortars on the front. You can see them in the video here. But if you want to get a little bit more technical, you can see them right here, these bomb lobbers. It also has access to depth charges that I'm not sure if you can throw them, but they are there on the model, so I've got a feeling that they will. But yeah, you can see here, RGB bomb rocket launchers. And I find it kind of comical what they say here, so... but that just makes it more interesting. In addition to the player's satisfaction at sniping their foe, a solid hit will most likely be fatal for smaller ships and critical for destroyers and light cruisers. So give it a try. If you hit someone, you'll really have something to brag about. You will, because this thing is never getting close to a destroyer or a light cruiser. Like, the range on any bomb mortar that we've had in game so far is it is not feasible to use against destroyers or light cruisers. You may catch a Clemson, that is one of the destroyers that you may be able to deal with. But if this thing is going to be at a BR where it can deal with light cruisers, you're not getting anywhere near them at all. The thing at the end of the day is when it comes to War Thunder Naval, might makes right? The only balancing factor is torpedoes, which is what this thing doesn't have. So if we have a look at ground forces, one of the key things in ground forces is that lighter vehicles have the scouting ability. It's also easier for them to get into jets. They're normally quite faster than their medium and heavy counterparts. The medium tanks, they have artillery as well, which is nice, and generally they're the meta. Heavy tanks, they cost a little bit more, but in a down tier, their armor normally means something. So, and the AA can shoot down planes very effectively and kill a lot of tanks as well. There's a lot of different playstyles in ground vehicles. In naval, it's a lot harder to do. In naval, you end up in a lot of situations where it is literally, wow, he's got more guns than me, and he's got more armor than me. I can't hide because I'm in the middle of a sea. Well, it looks like I'm dead. So the only way to really hope that you win that battle is if the enemy doesn't know that you're there, and also, you get the jump on them and maybe get an ammunition hit with that 85 that you see on the front. So even though this thing, it has a lot of firepower for a Subchaser, if it faces other Subchasers, that will be, pretty good. The problem is, will it? Because even for the Soviets, you have stuff like the Project 159 running around, which is incredibly good. And then, remember the squadron vehicles that hopefully we see soon? If you have a look at the squadron tab and the squadron activity tab, it looks like they've changed a few things when it comes to the numbers. So I'm really hoping that the squadron vehicles come soon. That is something that I've personally been looking forward to for a long time. But one of the vehicles in there is an upgraded Project 159, right? And with that said, you know how devastating that machine can be. Well, imagine that against a 122BIS. It's not going to go well for the 122BIS. It's going to go absolutely horrifically, as it would do for the majority of Subchasers that we have. So when you take a vehicle where its main purpose is not in the game, and you put it up against vehicles that are larger than it, that are bigger than it, it's gonna get crushed. So if this thing's BR is around 2.7, 3, maybe at the highest 3.3, I think it'll be alright. You know, it will get uptiered in some games, and you can play around the smaller areas and kill a lot of the torpedo boats. But against other battle boats, it'll be alright because of the 37s. You know, you'll, in my opinion, when it comes to these ships, using the 85s is always a red herring. I think it's always better to use the faster firing guns to try and get as much damage as possible, and then let the AI donk people with the 85. You know, as long as you have good crews, you know, you'll be able to do a lot to them. And also the machine guns can help you with that. But the features such as a unique mortar, it's not unique, you know. Maybe it's unique in the fact that it's rocket propelled, but it doesn't matter. It's still a mortar. And you still don't have an aiming reticle for it. So you can't just, you know, fling them with any accuracy unless you know exactly where you're chucking them. So you've got to rely on the guns of this thing and the maneuverability. And I think it'll have good of that until it gets uptiered. And this is just the inherent problem with ships right now. And as I've said before, I don't know how to fix it. The only way I can see fixing it is either building a wall between rank 3 and rank 2, or just giving more access to torpedoes for the smaller ships. Hopefully, with this machine coming to the game, and also with the other Project 159, it'll get more people interested in naval, especially since Japan as well is coming out in updates 1.89, you know, the IJN, the Imperial Japanese Navy. I know a lot of people looking forward to that, and hopefully they come along with a lot of vehicles like this. And also, I hope at the same time we get a tech tree equivalent for this thing. I know we already have some which are similar, but we do have a direct correlation one in the 122A, and hopefully soon we get more information about this. It's nice seeing all these shiny vehicles. It is lovely seeing all these shiny vehicles. We know that it's a Build-A-Bear concept, but if it's too hard and there's too much stuff that you have to do in order to get these vehicles, plus on top of it if we have the squadron vehicles running, plus maybe even the World War II Chronicles event, because remember that, everyone? That's supposed to be coming in a week. My guess is this is, you know, not the cover-up for it, but but this is going to be the one which is this is going to replace the World War II Chronicles event. But the fact is, we don't have any info on it, right? And we've seen 3 devblogs right now of 3 wonderful machines, all mid-tiers. Well, I suppose the I-180S is one of those rank 1 2.7 Soviets. This is a rank 3 late or a rank 4. I'd probably say rank 4 with the new system. This is a late rank 2. There's no way this makes it into rank 3. Just remember the 159's in rank 2. You know, that monstrosity. So this definitely doesn't make it into rank 3. And when we look at the other machines, you know, this is a straight rank 4. You know, the light cruiser. This will probably be a rank 2 or 3. And the Macabre, well, it's a rank 6, isn't it? Like, and if it's not a rank 6 and it's a rank 5, then, you know, fair enough, but it should be a rank 6. Overall, I'm really looking forward to this event. There's a lot of really good stuff on offer. We just need to see how it's going to happen. And I like the Build-A-Bear events. And I like the fact that each part of War Thunder, apart from helicopters, is getting something. You know, we are getting 2 ships. We are getting 2 tank or ground vehicles. We are getting 2 aircraft. One of the things that I said before that wasn't happy with the festive events is there was no naval stuff. So they did the Sea Voyage event and had naval stuff. I'm happy that they're getting equally represented in this one as well. It makes me very happy that all different players in War Thunder can get a stab at whatever they want. Overall, it really depends on the BR of this thing, if it'll be good or not. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank B. Young, Blackie, Dyslexic Child, Moxie, Olo Brolo, Martinez and Super Cacti for supporting me on Patreon.